stay in touch. Great to have you on.
Yep. Stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize I was up in New York in August, and there on a Saturday night, and I mean, I'm telling you what, you could literally not walk. The Times Square was that. I mean, there. I've never seen more people outside of trying to get out of a football stadium in the SEC. Trey is up next in Tuscaloosa. Hello, Trey.
Hey, Mr. Feinbaum, how are you?
I am doing well compared to the rest of the world. I'm pretty blessed.
Well, like I tell myself all the time, I'm too blessed to be stressed. But my mama always told me I would never accomplish anything laying around on the couch having a Crown in 7, watching or listening to Paul Feinbaum. But you know what, Paul? Here I lay, sit my butt on the couch, listening to Paul Feinbaum, helping save the world. What's up with that, Paul?
I like it. I hope you're having a Crown in 7 on me.
Yes, sir, I am. Now, on a more serious note, I heard the guy talking about maybe shortening, and a comment you made, talking about maybe a shortened season, or we just play conference games. Let's say that's what we have to do. Well, we know all conferences don't play the same amount of games, so all conferences aren't equal, and all schedules aren't equal. But let's say that's what we have to go to. Is that going to give the College Football Playoff Committee a chance to open this thing up to 8 to 10 teams? What do you think about that?
Wow, that's an interesting question, and it's not one that I don't think anyone's really thought about. We're more focused on the front end than the back end. I don't know if it could be done, but again, we don't know what the schedule looks like, so I would say anything probably could be done right now.
Yeah, I would too, because I just don't see them taking 4 teams.
It would be a nice way to make up some revenue on the back end if you could add another weekend or two. But you've just raised an issue that, let's say, I mean, and I don't really even want to comprehend it yet. But if we miss a couple of games, and then the bowl season becomes much more complex. But I'm sure we would just simply have an adjusting scale. Trey, hey, thanks. Appreciate the call very much. We are running up into a break in a second. Again, if you missed Jack Swarbrick, he was really fascinating. The athletic director at Notre Dame asked if he could envision a season without fans. He said no. He said he would not want that. And as the head of Notre Dame's athletic department, his weight is massive. We are coming back with another hour.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The Home Depot is here to help, and we have many ways to help. You can download our app or go online to find the essential products and information you need quickly. You can order what you need online, and we can have it waiting for you at the store. Or we can even deliver over 1 million items free. And we have thousands of how-to videos for the projects and repairs you need to make. We're here to help. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1896, the first modern-day Olympics were held in the birthplace of competition, Athens, Greece. At the time, only men competed, and over 240 male athletes from 14 different countries participated in the games. In 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first black player of the 20th century to sign an MLB contract. Brooklyn GM Branch Rickey announces the Dodgers had bought Robinson's contract from the Montreal Royals. In 1961, 25th U.S. Masters Tournament Augusta National, South African Gary Player beats defending champion Arnold Palmer and amateur Charles Coe by 1 stroke to become the first international champion. In 1974, Hammer and Hank Aaron hit his 715th home run, breaking Babe Ruth's record. In 1989, one-handed pitcher Jim Abbott debuted in Major League Baseball. Abbott, despite being born without a right hand, was drafted in the first round of the 1988 MLB draft and reached the Major Leagues the next year. As a member of the Yankees, he threw a no-hitter against the Cleveland Indians in 1993. Abbott spent an illustrious 10 years in Major League Baseball before he retired. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Gathering at Pensacola Beach is a wonderful family experience. If you thought of having a family celebration or an amazing beach wedding, there's a very special home now available, Casa de Luna. Casa de Luna is spacious with room for large families. It has 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Casa de Luna is a large private home with a refreshing pool and water views. The pool can be heated for swimming in colder months. Casa de Luna is unique in that the main living area is directly on sand level. It's very convenient. Bedrooms are both on the sand level and upstairs. One bathroom is handicap friendly and another has a new jacuzzi. And there's a large gaming porch with pool table, foosball, hockey, ping pong, and Xbox One. Bicycles are provided. Bring your family to Casa de Luna on Pensacola Beach.
For information, call Casa de Luna owner Tim at 791-6400. That's 791-6400. 791-6400.
JP here. We hope everybody is being safe out there. LSU's own coach Ed Orgeron has a message for us during this time regarding the coronavirus.
For every winning team, a key to success is learn the playbook. That's true in football, and it's also true as we take on the coronavirus. The spread of the coronavirus is a serious matter, but there's a game plan for keeping residents as safe as possible. Everyone has a role to play as we face this challenge together. Cover your cough with your elbow like this. Wash your hands thoroughly, a full 20 seconds. If you're sick, stay home. If you think you should be tested, phone your health provider first. Avoid close contact with anyone who's sick. Protect your at-risk family members, including the elderly. If you're not at risk, take care as you go about your daily business. Get the facts now from coronavirus.gov and your state health department. We're all in this together. Let's team up to protect our health.
Thanks, Coach O. And from all of us here at ESPN Pensacola, stay safe out there.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, no games to get to this weekend, but still NFL talks will continue with the draft, and we'll also get into why one insurance policy might be saving somebody a couple extra zeros these days.
Emmitt Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derrick Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day here on Blab TV. I'm Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you outside the glass. Got a nice little setup here. Patriots still looking for their quarterback, so we got our trusted Crash over here dressed up in our Patriots attire. No Spurs fans wants to see that today, but it is. And, NFL talk will continue as the NFL draft going on as planned. This would be Masters Week. A tradition unlike any other, one that Bubba Watson, two-time Masters champion, never forget the first time I had an opportunity to interview Bubba when he won that first Masters right there at Osceola Golf Course with our great friend and a guy that's done so much when it comes to the local community. And Bubba is the kind of guy that has an opportunity to win not one but two, and that's really his tournament. Everybody's got that one tournament or that one thing they do better in individual sports. Some people aren't good clay players. Guys like Boris Becker dominated. Guys like Roger Federer, some of those guys win every tournament. But there's certain players that play better in certain conditions. And when it comes to the Open Championship, the British Open, that's not his cup of tea. Not grip it and rip it and hitting into the burn or into those tall weeds. But when it comes to the shaping the ball around the Masters course, does it as good as anyone. Won't be able to do it this week. And coming off a year where Tiger Woods, that guy, was defending his crown, it was going to be that much bigger. But would be Masters Week. We got bigger things to deal with, and you know what? It is what it is. Joining me on the other side of the glass, you can catch him on Talk Football with Coach K each and every afternoon, right there at noon here on ESPN Pensacola. JP, what is happening, my friend?
Doing pretty good. Not a whole lot's happening. For me, really, look, I want to say something here. It's for those that say iRacing or this video game stuff is not the real deal. I just want you to know, for those that haven't followed it, which a lot of people are like, "Is kidding me?" This video game stuff with the NASCAR, I think it's pretty cool, the iRacing, because they're getting the actual drivers out there. To get here, and they got rigs that some of them are up to $40,000. I mean, they actually train on these things. But Bubba Wallace lost his sponsor because he quit. He rage quit.
I saw that, yeah. Blue Emu, by the way.
Blue Emu, yeah. They came out and said,
I've caught one of those, but it wasn't a sponsor.
Basically,
it was a fine in Africa, but it was a.
Oh, it's all right. Okay. We'll have to talk about that.
No, we don't. We don't. The court settled that,
After quitting, he said, "I'm dying at mentions right now. I ruined so many people's day by quitting a video game." And he laughed and said, "A video game. Dang, quarantine life is rough." And Blue Emu, well, they tweeted right back at him and said, "Good to know where you stand. Bye-bye, Bubba. We're interested in drivers, not quitters." And then they posted the meme of Donald Trump saying, "You're fired." And they cut it. They cut ties with him. So that seems like that was something they were looking for a reason to cut him, and that was way too easy.
There's two parts of this story. Although I don't disagree with this whole philosophy, I do understand that there's a lot of people fiending out there, and that Vegas, whether we want to admit it or not, one of the things in this country that people, whether they want to admit to it or not, is people put a lot of money on things. And, I mean, people bet on everything. Whether you believe in sports betting or not, people are out there, they're like, "I wouldn't do that kind of stuff. House always wins. That's why those skyscrapers go up in Vegas." And then they're like, "How's the NASDAQ looking? Can we get Bloomberg on right now?" Yep, I just put 500,000 shares into Disney. Sounds good right there. You ever heard of them? Like, everybody in some way or the other has a thrill for gambling. That's why, look, I lived in Vegas for 4 years. If you go up to Atmore to Wind Creek during the regular times, you'll see a lot of grandmothers out there playing penny stocks. It'd be dangerous for them to do that right now. They are closed, and I do not condone that. But at the same time, you'll see a lot of people. You're not going to tell people what they can do with their money as long as you do it within a certain amount of responsibility, which, as I hope you're not putting your mortgage, you can do what you want with your time. But I do think that overall, there are a lot of people that were betting on this around the country, millions of dollars. So for that and for his sponsorship, he needs to do it. That's the thing is, if somebody tells you not to do something, a coach, a boss, you could disagree. I mean, many people do every single day. But if you want to get a paycheck or you want to continue, you suck it up and you do it. And the same thing with Bubba Wallace in this situation. Was he wrong, really, to come out and say, "Come on, guys, look, I'm quarantined with my family. I got in a wreck. I'm done with this. I walk off the course. I'm only affecting myself on maybe a paycheck," and sort of laughed at the people that really are berating him, like, "You ruined me. I put money on you in iRacing on a virtual reality court, and you cost me money." I get where he sort of made a joke. At the same time, if somebody tells you this is important and you can lose sponsorships over it, and you don't have to go through the long, grueling process of traveling and doing all this, and you're still going to receive a paycheck and get your sponsorship money while other people, 6 million across the country, are filing for unemployment, take the money and sit in that little air-conditioned seat with you could have a margarita machine next to you. Nobody's even going to judge that. You do that in the regular NASCAR, more than likely, I'm not sure the bylaws, but going 200 with one of those Tommy Bahamas and margarita machines, I would think that you'd probably get a DUI and probably kicked off the tour. But you can do it at your house and race. Whatever you want to do if you have a need for speed. But, yeah, Blue Emu, no longer.
I see both sides of this. For Bubba Wallace, I get it. I mean, with him saying people are freaking out and stuff people anytime, look, fantasy football players, it's so funny to watch Peyton Manning talk about when he first came into the league, people were taking him in the first round and stuff, and then he'd go out and he wouldn't throw a touchdown in a game or had a 4-pick game or whatever, and he was just like, what's going on? Because all these people he's getting hate mail and everything. He's walking off the field, and they just won 10-7, and people are like, "Yo, you're a bum. I took you in the first round." It's like, come on, like there are other things. I get it.
Well, remember when Westbrook took a knee at the 1?
Yes.
I mean, and he won the game for his team. They were up by 1 point, and if he would have gone in the end zone, they would have been up by 8, and they would have had to kick off with, I think it was a minute 15 left, and the team would have had a shot to go down and keep the game going. He was like a 30-yard run up the middle, and he needed at the 1, so they could take a knee. They had no timeouts left, and the game was over. And people were like, I can't believe it, because it was like week 15, and if he gets in the end zone, then they win the fantasy league. And he was one of those, top-notch kind of guys that you wanted on your team. But he did the right thing, and people need to understand that that's why Coach Belichick, people like that are already looked at if you had to pick between the Jedi Force or the dark side, Belichick's always the dark side, and he's like the Sith Lord in every movie. The guy that gets, is sitting like, yes, he's that guy every time. And he doesn't care what people think if he's going with Rex Burkhead 40 times and then turning around with Sony Michel. He really doesn't. And the coaches should not worry about fantasy football or the players unless they have money like Josh Shaw. And then that's all you get.
Well, for Bubba Wallace, though, for people that are criticizing him, understand that anybody that's played a video game and you've been some type of I'm not going to say everybody that plays video games gets the whole rage thing at one point. You've all been there in that Call of Duty. I know you have.
I do in Halo in college when I didn't know how to play. And I'd just be the guy sniping in the corner, and some guy would like fly in and still they would laugh and mock, and they would still come up and shank you. They love shanking the people that don't know how to play.
And more.
I've got this like triple gun grenade launcher. A guy comes up and shanks me in the neck. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. I quit playing those games at that point.
Fun listening to you talk about that.
No, there's a reason you keep it. I'm not playing video games with you. I'm done with that.
It's everybody, especially you talk about competitor, which these guys are ultimate competitors doing this. Look, he shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have quit like that because, look, guys have wrecked and whatever. It's a game in the end. But not only that, though, when you look at Blue Emu, I'm sure there's something to this, obviously. There's something more than just this is not the first time they've been aggravated with him. But regardless, it makes them look bad, and not to an extent of, like, shameful. Like, nobody's going to look at Blue Emu and go, oh, I'm not buying Blue Emu because of that right there. There may be a couple, I guess. I don't know. Blue Emu is good stuff, though.
Frankly, my opinion is I've learned a ton more about Blue Emu over the last 24 hours than I have before this race. I mean, I had to Google whether Wallace was part of the Wallace family of racers. There's like 1,000 of them. Like the Waltrips, Wallaces,
it's
Andretti's.
Like the name Smith. The last name Smith.
There's
a million.
There's a billion. Yeah, exactly. There's some families that that if you see their name in a certain sport that they probably are with it. And Wallace is one of those families. So, but I had to look at the Blue Emu to make sure that it's that super strength for the cream that you rub on. Make sure to keep it above the waist, and
don't make that mistake.
Hey, listen, or other things will be coming Blue Emu, but I will say it's one of these kind of things where, I think they've actually got more press out of this, but that's not the path they wanted to take. They're spending some money out there, and maybe he should have rubbed a little more Blue Emu because obviously he was not in full. There is a good story from iRacing this week, as now officially we're 11 minutes into the show, and iRacing has set a record for more time talked about today than the rest of our entire career. So here we go, 11 minutes in. That's what it's coming.
Getting out of our system.
This is a good feel-good story, though. Robert Wickens right there. Sounds like some kind of English novel that you have to read in like 7th grade. You get a free pizza at Pizza Hut for. Robert Wickens, 2018 IndyCar Rookie of the Year. He went into the fence at full speed. He was He was one of the up-and-coming, one of the best racers. Obviously, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2018. Well, a bad crash left him paralyzed from the waist down, and his career was over. Obviously, at this point, he could never race again. Well, now with virtual racing, the race this week from Alabama that they actually had Charles Barkley going, start your engines, and then that's terrible, doing his old, he did his old thing, and then the simulator, and then because you can bet on it, I'm sure Charles had a few dimes on it, a few Benjamins. But the good story here was Robert got to participate in the race. And he actually now gets to drive again. They have it set up where he can,
That's awesome.
do everything with the start and finish with his hands. Like a lot of people, there are people that can drive cars around that are paralyzed waist down. You can have cars that can, drive with your hands. And it was perfect. I thought this was something that was really awesome to see. And in a feel-good story moment of something bad turned into something good. Robert Wickens this week got to, with all of his friends and people, because there's a lot of downtime in NASCAR. You race, then you go out and party. Not everything's Talladega Nights like Ricky Bobby, a little magic man right there. But at the same time, they like to enjoy their life. And a lot of these NASCAR guys, they go from city to city. They go out, they hang out together, and they go to the next town. When it's race day, they get ready. But for him, getting to be out there with some of the guys that he participated the last couple of years in racing, to get to go out there, he got a top 10 finish. But Robert Wickens, one of the feel-good stories to sort of counterpart, I guess maybe compromise, maybe in the middle right there with Bubba Wallace this week.
Yeah,
so now
it definitely takes the cake on it. I mean, that is an awesome story. It's almost as awesome as Tom Brady talking about playing until he's 48. Not sure if you saw that.
No, it's.
But he said, talking about extending.
One more year. He's going to retire. There's a reason he went to Tampa. Villages are right there.
He said. Now,
a lot of retirement homes
This
in
is
Tampa.
Tom Terrific here saying this. Now, if anybody could play till 48, I believe he could, just because of the type of shape he puts himself in and all the, whatever. And
Gisele's got him on those workout videos.
The wife,
the Victoria's Secret workout videos. Those aren't workout videos? Okay.
No, that runway is not used. Never mind. Anyway, look, this is something that he also said on leaving the Patriots, that he was leaving because he had things to prove to himself. But he's talking about playing till he's 48, possibly 48. He said, look, I have a 2-year contract in Tampa. That may not be the end. So, Chad, congratulations, because you may get Tom Brady when he's 45, 46 years old. He can win a couple championships, maybe with Tampa, or maybe win one, go back to the Patriots for a couple years, and then what's going to happen is Belichick's going to retire. Tom's going to move into the head coach position. There you go. Congratulations, man. It's been a big Monday.
Now I'm looking at Tom Brady. There's no blue check mark here on Twitter. It's Brady is spelled Bradie, but Tom Brady has said it's close enough to be accurate, right? So on the internet. But he says, look, guys, I will never be able to accomplish the things I did in New England. Most of us have already known that wherever I go after this, it'll just be second tier. The New England Patriots and all the organizations in the NFL look up to this team. They know them as the best, and we walk around and celebrate this team daily. We love you. We don't care about anyone else, and we all hate the Cowboys. That's his Tom Brady.
That sounds like him.
Bradie right there. So just going to show you that nothing will ever be the same.
He can't even spell his name right when he's in Tampa now. So that's what it is. So there you go. That's a shame, though. Hate that for him.
He could have gone to do you think if Drew Brees was to retire, which no Saint fan wants to see, he is the lifeblood of the New Orleans Saints and a guy that's awesome. And we will get to the story, on a sad note, a guy in Tom Dempsey who kicked the 63-yard field goal, who tied with my older roommate right there, Matt Prater. And he did it way before Matt Prater did.
Fun fact real quick.
Yeah, fun fact, yeah.
This is awesome, actually, on Talk Football with Coach K today. Mentioning this to Coach K. Coach K said, I don't know if you'll believe this or not, I held the first field goal for Tom Dempsey. We were both rookies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I do believe it. Who would make that story up? I mean, if you're trying to show off to the ladies at a party, you're not like, hey, ladies, what have you done before? Well, I just don't want to boast right now, but I did hold the ball for Tom Dempsey when he kicked that field goal for the Saints. Be like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Is that the pathway to getting married here? Is that I don't think Dr. Drew's telling people, ladies, if that man out there that's telling you he was the guy with that finger. Well, it depends on hand size. Joe Burrow.
That's true.
He used those 12-inch mitts to hold that ball, and Dempsey kicked it through. Now all of a sudden you're getting phone calls.
Wow.
Now that means something.
Hand model and.
But I believe it. That's pretty cool though. That Coach K was the first one to hold Tom Dempsey's kick right there.
His first.
He was the first one to hold the ball for Tom Dempsey. First one to grab the ball for Tom Dempsey. I will say though that if you think about that moment right there, and for the people that are saying, I saw some people read the stories. Don't just read the headlines and these stories. With the coronavirus right now, it sucks. We all know that. But for people out there that are looking at age groups and saying, a guy like Tom Dempsey was 71 years old, that's way too young. Yeah, it's way too young. We don't want to see anybody. He also has been dealing with dementia for 8 years, since 2012. And for somebody that just went to my grandmother's funeral a couple months ago for late-stage dementia, it's a horrible disease. Nobody wants to see it. But please read, because this is an awful thing happening, but it is happening with people with already pretty bad conditions. And it's just taking it to a whole new level. And we pray each day for all these people. But if you're just trying to push an agenda out there to just put, 71, look, stop. That's not the point of any of this right now. It just should be, we pray when Joe Diffie, when people are lost, we just pray. And that their family members and the people around them, we're all in this together. I hope we're in it for the human race. If you're in it for politics and some of the stuff that's been said about Trump and other things, just stop. Just stop. You're wasting your time. We're all in this together, and I hope at this point you realize that. And that's all I'm going to say on that. News Radio does an awesome job downstairs, 92.3 with all the news, the big stuff. We get to have fun talking sports, but with no sports. But I will say, just quit with trying to push your agenda at this point. I quit reading a long time ago. Facebook still somehow on my algorithms is trying to trick me, but not reading your story anymore.
No, I think it's important that you mourn when the time is to mourn, and then you celebrate people's lives. That's something that I learned. Listen, it's losing my aunt not too long ago, and my aunt, it was somebody that I was close with later on, not initially growing up, but and that tends to happen with family members, as you get older. But regardless, I think it's important that we celebrate people's lives like that. I think it's for something like people that want to pick out of something like this, and you want to pick numbers out and whatever. Don't do that right now, because now's not the time, nor is ever the time. But leave politics at the door. Yep. With all this stuff going on right now, the coronavirus cares nothing about politics. It will go to anybody, and when it affects you, it doesn't care no matter what you believe in. It's a virus right now that we're all fighting. We have to remember, and we say it over again. I think people have kind of forgotten what it truly means when we say we're all in this together. It means we each have a part to do in this, and it's an important role. It's something that a lot of people have stepped up to the plate. The majority to watch people donating and going out of their way, and I'm not just talking about big celebrities and sports stars and stuff, the general public, to watch them donate. I know Waffle House does a thing where if you donate $8, they go give a meal to a first responder, healthcare worker, whatever. That stuff's awesome. And anytime you get a chance, I know, Autumn working at Sacred Heart, she was talking about today that they had people begging to pay for their lunches and stuff like that. Like, that's awesome. That's the kind of stuff that we're seeing come out of this. And for the people that you talk about the politics, and when you talk about politics, you get into real negative areas, and people believe it's almost like everybody's evil in their own way. I'm not going to get into Republican, Democrat, whatever, but everybody believes that other side is evil to an extent. There's always something wrong with them. I've always said, and it's something that my aunt told me, my grandmother's told me, my grandfather's told me, my father, my mother. Why are we looking for the negative in people? Why are we not looking for the positive? Why are we not looking for things we have in common with each other, and then let's build on that?
Yeah.
I think it's important. And I know everybody's different. You can run through different times or whatever, but I think the biggest thing is right now everybody needs to love on everybody. That doesn't mean touch anybody.
That's right. Just like in sports. And that's why when we come back, we'll get into more conversations on the Houston Astros and New England Patriots. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
First take, your take.
Number one, if you are Cam Newton going to New England, why in God's name would you want Cam Newton to succeed Tom Brady? You don't want to put Cam Newton in that situation when he's 31 years of age. There are people speculating that we may have very well seen the very, very best of him. You don't want that for him.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-285-4954. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-285-4954. 800-285-4954.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things, my daughter's 3, I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day here on Blab TV. I'm Chad Brilliante on the other side of the glass. JP as well. And Quentin back in the network studio at Blab TV doing a great job. I just realized it's like glass window up here. It's like one of these, hello, Clarice, like one of these kind of movies on the outside, like they do with only the crazy people. So most people would say, yeah, that's about right for you.
I think that's about right for us, period, yeah.
Right here through that. Get that.
Clarice, huh?
Hello. I haven't done the things Hannibal's done. Please. That's it. Someone's
not going to go into this.
I would hope not. I mean, that's not like you're
way to compare yourself to somebody.
Way to make yourself sound like sunshine right there. WrestleMania. Gronk wins. Look at that. No fans. Undertaker wins.
Gronk won the 24/7 title, which made me look into this a little bit. I haven't, I follow.
Research alert.
I follow wrestling, not a whole lot, but I pay attention to it just in general. But
you like to wrestle people. I've seen you just on the streets, like we've been
wrestling.
No. We've been at the NFL tailgate show at World of Beer, and a guy was walking and just like, come on, boys, and just jumped right into it. That's called actually battery, but yeah, but it's okay. I know you're a wrestler.
You pit me on this show like this ultimate outlaw of all these things that go on.
Look, who's on the outside of the glass for a reason? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. All right, fair enough. Yeah. No, I think, but look.
Glass half full kind of guy here.
I think glass is full. The 24/7 title
What's it full with, though? That's the key, yeah.
I got my bottle, as always.
Yeah, cheers.
But the 24/7 title is exactly what it sounds. You can win it 24/7 at any time, which I think is odd, but so Gronk didn't really win. He just kind of like won that little bitty title. It's like, here's a participation trophy. You can have that one. So good for Gronk. You know what? That's awesome. Winning championships all around.
Coming up here at 5:30 from College Sports and Lindy Sports, Brent Baird will come on to join us to break down WrestleMania. No, he will not. He will not. No Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. No WrestleMania for him. We'll talk some college football, the NFL draft going on, and more. Also, what is pandemic insurance? That's another thing that people are probably all sitting on their couch right now wondering what that is. Actually, nobody said that. But I do actually have a story of something that you should probably look into, because based on that, this is something that a lot of people don't want to do too much research. This is one of these kind of movies where, at this point, we all accept it. We move on. We understand sports across the board. They're not happening, so you don't question anymore. And the people that do question get the finger and the tisk, and we understand. But for everybody out there, because a lot of people have been taking selfies, and it's been happening, what is one thing that a lot of people are still doing? I live over by Roger Scott Tennis Center. I'm not calling it out because they actually are allowed to be open. It's exercise, and it's something that is essential to people getting out there and fitness and having leaks. Well, people, as long as they keep their spacing, golf courses and tennis courts and clubs can stay open. Now, it's only one person every 5 feet. You keep your distance, but it can happen. So you start to wonder, what?
But I saw tennis shut down now because the National Tennis Organization said it wasn't good. So that's where
maybe I just...
Because basketball hoops were taken down. They said the tennis courts were going to get shut down.
Maybe I apologize to Roger Scott Tennis Center.
You just called them out.
They're like, you son of a... Yeah,
everybody get out. Get out. Go.
Because somebody's driving right now. And they had a shot. I didn't mean to do that. Whoops, if that's the case.
I swear I read that today, though.
Did you? Yeah. Then maybe they're not. This is... Never mind about where it was. Sorry.
Illegal tennis
harboring. Okay, moving on. No, now all these people are coming to find me. Well, there's the one thing I like to do. I've got 5 kids. I can't get out of my house. I got to do tennis, and you just ruined. No,
I paid an extra $100 to get in there.
So, back to what I was saying, though, is one sport where you think could go through would be tennis. Based on that, you can stay on the other side of the net. You're within, you're 30 feet away from the guy, unless it's one of those short volleys. Maybe they'd make a rule. All right, quit with the drop shots. Let's play big points, so you don't have to run up to the net. Whatever they need to do, but at the same time, we understand that tennis could have a shot to happen in Wimbledon because it's not until what? The end of June, July?
Yep.
Okay, but then I started to read more into it. This can always get you in trouble. But this is real. This is not a conspiracy. As the coronavirus has really wreaked havoc on every sector of the economy, business, big or small, the All England Lawn Tennis Club, who governs Wimbledon, cancels its 2020 event as to postponing it. So people are saying, okay, why would Wimbledon be postponed in late June, early July? That doesn't make much sense for a sport that could be played. Now, a similar thing happened with the Open Championship in golf. Royal and Ancient could walk away from the Open Championship this year, while the U.S. Open, they're moving it back. There's been rescheduled dates. And my brother from the Golf Channel will join us later on the show. One of the big reasons, and I hear the phone ringing out here, that could be because they're on to me. And they're like, don't give this information out. But this is pandemic insurance. Now, I didn't know this stuff exists. And apparently, you probably can't buy that for your house. And if you are buying pandemic insurance for your house, you're more of a freak mode than me outside this glass looking like Hannibal Lecter, because something's crazy's happened. If you got pandemic insurance for your home or your business, then I don't want to know what's happening back there. I just don't. I do not want to know what is happening at your business. But I do have to say, though, the truth is, guess how much? You want to take a ditty? At how much money that this pandemic insurance is worth to Wimbledon and why they canceled it way back and they had to make that decision right away for this check? How much do you want to take as how much Wimbledon made from the All England Lawn and Tennis Club from canceling it across the board for pandemic insurance?
Yikes. I have no idea. I don't know where to gauge
$250 million. So the reason why they canceled it, even if they would have played without people in the stands and with a lot of people probably canceling theirs, they wouldn't have made $250 million.
That's what I'm saying. You're coming out.
They're making
a sure thing.
By them just saying, Roger Federer, we don't care if you're hitting the ball in snow in Switzerland right now. We don't care about anyone. We got to make this decision now, and boop, and somebody is getting paid big time. That is why. So the next time you think it's always about the best interest of the coronavirus, when a sport like tennis could be played in June, even without fans and people keeping their distance, look to the $250 million pandemic insurance. It's real, and it's happening right now. So I just want to make people aware. It's not always they're doing it for the best interest of people's health. Just want to make that clear. Hopefully, somebody on that committee, maybe like the Grinch, like an inch of it, was like, we really care about the people, as they get $250 million for a tournament that didn't happen. And a lot of the athletes, and guess who they don't have to pay, too? Any of the athletes for winning the tournament. The $2-3 million paydays aren't happening for anybody.
Is that straight cash, homie?
That's straight cash for the All England Lawn and Tennis Club, who clearly by the name and the sweaters wrapped around their necks in the picture really needed this money for their new martinis. They have a new martini bar over there, and they
need
really
martini glass.
They
too.
needed new glasses.
Yeah.
The other ones were breaking too easily.
They were.
So now they have $250 million worth. When we come back, just want to let you know. Here you go.
Wow.
Now, just enlightened you a little on pandemic insurance. Don't run to the store to buy it because I don't think anybody locally will have that. And if you do, once again, that's creepy. We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
There's only one natural ingredient that could instantly shift your mood, help you focus, lower stress, and boost your self-confidence. It's available everywhere, works immediately, is affordable, and can change the quality of your life forever. It's called playing music.
Side effects include restless foot syndrome, spontaneous undulation, and can be highly contagious. If a smile doesn't last for more than 4 hours, consult your nearest music store.
Just play. Your prescription to a better life. Brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-394-4915. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-394-4915. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-394-4915. 1-800-394-4915.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every night on Blab TV, replayed midnight to 2 a.m. Chad Brilliante on the other side of the glass, JP. Thanks again to Davis Allen this week of the Sports Call for letting us sit in. That was fun. From 3 different studios, getting to do the show. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed being the co-host once in a while.
I did get the smallest studio. I'm the biggest person, so
You know what? Those are as the
No,
world
it's
deals
fine.
with bigger problems than you in your studio space. We'll put that on the back burner. Joining us now from Jacksonville, as I'm sure he saw the influx of some of the spring breakers and some of the people coming in. But Jacksonville, just like everybody right now, doing their part. I've got a number of relatives living in Jacksonville. I've seen the pictures of downtown by the landing and all throughout, and it doesn't look like your typical one of the larger cities in the state, as many people are doing what they can to keep this area safe in the Panhandle. Brent Baird joins us of College Sports Notebook. Brent, we appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, Chad, I appreciate it. And people have got to understand that if we can make some sacrifices now, we'll have some ball in fall. So we need to get on it. I mean, there's still too many people here that are out and about congregating in large groups, and at some point that's got to stop. But for the here and the now of what you and I talk about, there is plenty going on. I think I was astounded when maybe that's too bold a word that Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott is going to take a 20% pay cut and the executive staff take a 10%. I'm wondering if commissioners all around will start doing this. But, Chad, the reality is we are going to have to see over the next few months a lot of different things happen above and beyond the norm of what we're used to.
Brett, I want to see, because the NCAA and the NFL are two leagues when it comes down to it that, you clearly could tell are leagues that have a lot of money. They're worth a ton, and money always rules above everything else, whether people want to admit it or not. The days of faith, family, and football in that order for a lot of the people in charge, it doesn't work out that way. But it looks like, from what I've read, and my brother, and I know you know Brett from working in the days back in Orlando, but he was talking about the opportunity for the British Open and also Wimbledon. One of the big reasons why they made the rule right away was pandemic insurance. They got a $250 million paycheck to just cancel it, not postpone it for a little while, but just completely cancel it across the board. Could you see the NCAA or leagues like that end up taking this insurance policy? I'm just trying to figure it all out together, but I would hope, for the sake of the people, they'd make the right choice for the safety first, but then not about just putting more money in the wallets if they had that. Have you heard anything about the NCAA happening to have pandemic insurance?
I think they're looking at that as a safeguard. I think what we're hearing now is going to be that after, I think if we'd have had the basketball tournament, it may have made some difference, Chad, but I think what we're looking at now is the thought that we really cannot cancel the football season. We may have to delay it, and we've heard everything from October to starting it in January. But I think at this point, they are looking at every conceivable possible scenario of where they go from here, and I would think looking at type of insurance along that line would be something that even the individual schools and the notes that we share, Alabama, on Friday made a move to kind of have a safeguard. Approval was given to secure $250 million in credit from a couple of banks. So, I mean, if the individual schools are doing it, Chad, don't you know behind the scenes the NCAA is looking at that too?
Well, absolutely. And we know the stories of Bobby Louder and a lot of people that also are invested in the bank and also are alumni. A lot of these school presidents and these people that have a lot of money with the banks that got a lot of the bailout when we look back over a decade ago. This is the same thing happening right now when it comes down to what these people are also NCAA fans. A lot of them went to a bigger college that they want to support as well. So there's going to be a lot of conversation. But the announcement, I know you've done a great job and love getting the notes from College Sports Notebook and everything you do as all in-person athletic activities and practices. It looks like they're going to push back until at least May. That's what we're reading?
Yes, May 31st, which includes the recruiting situation, the dead period is going to be extended to then. And what that does, that really hurts coaches, is it wipes out spring evaluation period. That's from April 15th through May 31st. Chad, my question to you is, and I'm just asking this more out loud as much as anything else, what I really wonder is, now obviously we have the 2 recruiting signing days now. Chad, I'm wondering for this year that if they may do away with the one in December and go with the one in February, just to give these schools more time to evaluate these kids that they don't have right now.
Well, I think that's not only something that makes sense. I think that's something that will happen. I mean, I think we need to understand things are going to change, and I think that I hope some of the governing bodies, and this doesn't just go for the NCAA, but some of these leagues that are very, let's just be honest, baseball is probably the toughest, where they never change any policies. They don't. People are going to have to work together. Things are going to have to change because it's not going to be perfectly simple. And if the people are, baseball can't sit there with a gavel and one of those old Whigs and Tories, like they're sitting there signing the Declaration with a feather pen, and act like they're going to be able to do 162 games and everybody's going to have the stats because it's a stat-driven league. Things are going to have to change. And the same thing with NCAA football. If you had to shorten the season or whatever has to happen to make this right. And another thing that's being brought up, and I don't know, and we don't know because, you know, I try to do what I can to watch the news. We work downstairs with News Radio 92.3. When I get in the car now, I have it on 92.3 just so I can pay attention to what's happening in the news. And I'll tell you, Brent, right now, there is a lot of questions we don't 100% know the answer, especially with football being played in the cold. And when flu-like symptoms come back, is usually starts around October, November is when people start getting the flu. We don't know if this thing's going to come back, and that's a scary part as well about the season, where we could slow down the curve, everything could be great, and then all of a sudden it spreads like wildfire again, and you know they're not going to be putting people in the stands.
Well, no, and I think one of the things that we're seeing right now is if they come back, even say in October, and just do conference games, that we may have a few games where there aren't fans in the stands. So that would make it very different. But, I mean, you could still get a season in. And frankly, the thing we've got to do with this is, whether it's baseball or the NFL or whatever it is, you can't go by the calendar this year. We're going to have to make some decisions. I'm not saying just off the cuff, but we're going to have to make some decisions where that the calendar really doesn't matter. This is one of those years, Chad, where it doesn't need to fit the calendar, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, you know, the fascinating thing to me would be, Chad, if you played football and we didn't start until, say, October, November, December, or January, you're right. You're dealing with the cold as opposed to dealing with the heat in August and September. So that would be interesting to see where that one would go. But the norm's out the window and the door this year, and we're going to have to look at doing some things differently in order to get the sports in.
Speaking with Brent Baird of College Sports Notebook, 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville. You can follow him online at Brent Baird, Beard. Brent, looking right now at Jalen Hurts. Today they did a virtual online interview with him for the NFL Draft and the Dallas Cowboys. You've covered the SEC and been to a number of Alabama games over the years. We know Jalen is one of those quarterbacks, even when he transferred to Oklahoma. He put up better stats, but that offense under Lincoln Riley has shown between Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and also now with Jalen, that it can put up Heisman contenders, but not one of them yet has been dominant in the NFL. Baker was a disappointment this year. Kyler is a rookie, still has time, and he can show progression, but it's going to take a little time. Do you believe if he got on a team like Dallas, and you had high praise of Dak even before he was anything at Mississippi State, because we've talked for 13 years on air, and you were giving him high praise, and he worked out to be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Looking at Dak and working with a guy like Jalen, do you think that would be a good move by the Dallas Cowboys to bring him on? And could Jalen Hurts, with the right tools, because I don't think he's ready now, but he's gotten better and he wants to learn, could Jalen Hurts be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Well, I have mixed emotions about that. I'll be honest with you. And I think part of Dak's success, Chad, would you agree that was because of Dan Mullen?
Yes, I agree.
And I think the thing with Jalen is timing is everything. And Jalen is coming along at a time to where he it could fit in where normally he may not be able to fit in simply because he is a dual-threat quarterback. There's no question about it. But I've always said this about Jalen, and will never waver from it. Jalen's the matter of years and his longevity in the league is going to be dependent on how accurate that he's going to be. And Prescott, I still think, is accurate enough, obviously, to where he can get the contract that he does. Is Jalen going to be that way? Let's be honest. He really wasn't in Alabama. He improved some in Oklahoma. But Chad, that's what I've got to see. Now, look, could he be drafted? Could he get in? Could he work as a backup for 2 or 3 years? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And credit to him because of how hard he's worked. But how he improves, if he can, his passing accuracy will determine how long he's in the league. Which the converse of that is that if he stays healthy, that's why Tua, whoever drafts him, is going to have a longer pro career. Again, if he stays healthy and gets rid of the ball in time, is because of his accuracy.
He's Brent Baird, College Sports Notebook, 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville, First Coast News and more. Work at the Florida Gators, the SEC, covering college sports across the board, and just one of the best sources of knowledge in the South. Brent, we always appreciate your time. I'll leave you with this, as we always like to have fun, and I was told we can only do inside jokes, but I'm going to go outside the box on this. But, here was a joke for all of us out there. I rear-ended a car this morning. Remember, it's just a joke, people. The start of a really bad day. The driver got out of his car, and he was a dwarf. He looked up at me and said, "I am not happy." So I said, "Well, which one are you?" That's how the fight started.
No. I bet it did. And listen, speaking of fights, Monday Night Football has a fight right now to get 2 guys. Is because now, and you probably saw this, if folks have missed this, they're actually looking at maybe the possibility of Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler on Monday night. I don't think that's who they are. I hope those guys stay in college. But Chad, and I know we got to go, and I'll leave you with this to ponder later. But listen, isn't it obvious with trying to get in all the people they try to get in, like Peyton, that the folks at Monday Night Football, that Joe Tessitore and Booger McFarland are probably out the door?
You would think so. At this point, honestly, when they come back, they could have somebody in the booth and like a small box in the corner doing sign language, and people would still watch the whole game. We're just going to be fiending for sports so badly, it's not going to matter. It really, I mean, people are not going to – they could have first-grade elementary classes doing it. We're going to be so happy when sports is back. Brent, I appreciate everything you do. Stay safe, my friend, and I respect everything you do, and thank you for joining us here in the situations we have going on.
Glad to help, brother. Take care.
Appreciate it. We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast on Blab TV.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month. Gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
There may be no games,
no practices,
no high fives.
but we're all still part of a team,
and we all have a role to play.
Right now, that means keeping our distance,
but still checking on each other,
helping the most vulnerable,
and supporting our heroes
that are keeping us safe.
Sports may be paused,
but the best parts are needed now more than ever.
So let's all do our part to help our team right now.
#OneTeam ESPN.
From First Take to your radio.
Zion, 16 games. Okay, how many games do they have left? About 20, 22 games. All right, so he ain't gonna even reach 40 games. Damn it, I mean, this first year in the NBA, which he's getting paid for, it's like a college season that do. Give a damn about no back-to-back. You're 19 years old. 19 years old. All right, figure it out.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
JP here with Talk Football on the Sports Drive. This is a different time for all of us, and for some, it's extremely tough right now. All of us here at ESPN Pensacola want to send a shout out to all our first responders and healthcare workers right now. We appreciate all the work that you do day in and day out, but right now we know you are all working harder than ever to help all of us get through this to beat COVID-19. If you see someone or know someone who is a first responder or healthcare worker, don't shake their hand, but let them know you appreciate them. Remember, a kind word goes a long way.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Production. Toot that thing up, mommy, make it roll. Once you pop, lock it for me, girl.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brillante on the other side. JP, Quentin back in our network studio downtown at Blab. And looking right now at what's going on in the world of sports. South Korea, which, look, the two things we almost are guaranteed to be better at when we come out of this is the history of sports. I'm talking from sports related. That's why you're probably on our channel. The history of sports and leagues we didn't know existed. Australia A-League soccer with Brisbane versus Sydney. Or games table tennis with a monkey in Russia that I actually watched. I did lose that match. I should have knew the chimp was in on it. I thought he was getting excited. Every play he was like, but we realized he just did that whether he lost or he won the point. I didn't realize that. So I couldn't really hear that well. So I saw him jumping around the table thinking that the guy from Belarus was losing. The guy was actually up a lot. So I put some money on the chimp and I lost. So it happens once in a while.
Research.
I guess I was the chump on the chimp. I guess we could say that, right?
Should have took out that insurance.
Shouldn't have taken out the pandemic insurance on that chimp. But I will say that if you look at a sport like South Korean baseball, not too many of us, and maybe you live an odd life, but if you were like, well, honey, I had a long day at work, closed a couple accounts, did a good job, and I'm just going to sit down, kick off the shoes, maybe eat some dinner with you, but I got a couple South Korean baseball games to watch tonight. You probably either bet a lot or you have an odd life or you live in South Korea. One of those choices. But that's what's happening right now is people are trying to find these games because right now they're playing exhibition baseball games, and it's the only thing really happening in the world of sports. And right now they said that because Dan Straley's one of the guys that's playing. Remember the former pitcher who pitched? He was actually pretty solid for a couple teams. Then, as many do, he went down to the Miami Marlins, and his career went south as well. And you got a guy, though, that is saying that they're playing with masks. we brought up the point because we were talking about it during the break that these guys can go into the stands. You don't have to sit together a couple inches away when it comes to it. You could spread out in the stands, in the bleachers. It's a spread out game. Now, if you will be kicked out of the league if you're in a rundown and you take off the mask. They're all wearing masks, protective masks. If you take off the mask and you start coughing on somebody in a rundown, you will be kicked out of the league, as deserved. But overall, outside of that, they said the second somebody tests positive again, then they're going to do a 2-week cancellation. If they, we'll see on that. But these things can't happen. And look, this isn't stereotypical. This is nothing. But if countries like, well, it is sort of, but if you look at countries like South Korea and India, people that in class, let's be honest, a lot of valedictorians in high school, a lot of doctors, it's just the way it's true, and better than at math. If it comes down to they look at the numbers and say, we can pull this off, I'm not saying we have to start tomorrow without fans, anytime even in the next month or two. But baseball, if they can pull this off, they're setting a blueprint, because we're all learning this together. They're setting a blueprint on how we can do it as well.
Well, people shouldn't, instead of bashing it, should almost accept it and understand, let's look at this, let's learn.
Look at this,
because
exactly.
Don't
it's not
look
a guarantee.
At it negatively, because now if it goes south, then you can go, okay, well, see, that's where we have to be sure. We have to do this. These precautions don't necessarily work. And if it does work, awesome. It's good for everybody in all this. So that's where I think be optimistic when you watch this, when you pay attention. I think they will, obviously. For those people who are like, they're going to ruin it. They're going to get us back into this. Yeah. No, because if there's any problem, then obviously we're going to nix it.
If this was Ukraine or something, I would be already like, okay, they could have just finished off a handle of Stoli and just been out there like, we don't care, we're gonna play it, and you'd be like, you know what, I'm not condoning
Give
this.
Some more Stoli.
Just chugging another one down. They drive in on tanks of the game. I would not condone that. But South Korea is they already are taking cautionary measures. They already were wearing masks in public before any of this happened. So they're not going out there just being like, let's just try. One of those kind of guys, one of those guys that goes 150 on the highway in one of those speed bikes, but doesn't wear a helmet. Like, I got this. One of those kind. They're not living life like that. All right, they're being safe. They just are wanting to play baseball again. And I know that's not number one. And I hope we can figure out or use this. Look to them for advice on how to get the league back together whenever it happens, if it does. We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive. One more hour on ESPN Pensacola. Simulcast on Blab TV.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we're going to get into some more, WrestleMania happened this week. Look, we had sports. One was sort of scripted with athletes, and the other were animals. Don't get any sick ideas. It was horses. But overall, that didn't help. We're coming back one more hour.
Emmitt Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every afternoon here on Blab TV. I'm Chad Brilliante. On the other side of the glass, JP. 850-623-1330 is the number to be part of the show. As, we looked at some of the things going on when it came to sports, and we understand it's going to take some time. We realized today that some sports overseas in Europe that have been canceled, there was something called pandemic insurance, and that is something that is one of those kind of things that we just have to understand, that it's not every single day that we go down a path of talking about this. And if you're taking out pandemic insurance for your house or other things, you probably live a pretty crazy or sick life. I mean, that's pretty. Pandemic means like mass chaos, worldwide panic. And if that's happening at like your line of business, I own a small business in Robertsdale, and I took out whoa, not going in that shop anymore. Thought I was just getting popcorn. But if it comes down to what's happening on something like Wimbledon, we got to realize that this is something that they got $250 million in a policy, and that's why it was canceled. It wasn't postponed or moved. And those are things a lot of people don't know, because if you start thinking about the semantics of things that people are still doing, and let's be honest with it, it's not my job. I'm glad that some small businesses are still getting to be run, because more money back in the economy in a safe way if people are using it for what they need. But there's a lot of essential businesses that have been deemed essential that is really an American way of deeming it essential. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm glad that there's liquor stores open, but is it really essential? Somebody's like, you better shut up, Chad. But yes, it is. I'm just saying. Listen. I'm just saying. But overall, we got to understand that tennis is one of those sports in June, late June, early July, that probably could have been played, but it's not going to happen now based on the possibility of pandemic insurance, because they weren't going to get that paycheck if they went on, and that's what's happening right now. And you know what? It is what it is. Hopefully you didn't know a lot about pandemic insurance, because it never really came up in your life. But this is something that's interesting. We posted on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page. You can read more about the story. It's something the Open Championship is talking about as well. We know this is Masters Week in golf, a tradition unlike any other. But the difference right now is, JP, is, when it comes down to the Open Championship, even though the Open usually comes after the Masters and the U.S. Open could be played, and the Open Championship might not be played. And it goes to show you, because this had to be taken. If you're trying to take it out now to get a $250 million check, first off, I don't know these banks. This reminds me of one of those movies, like the Swiss bank account, where the guy comes in and takes a bunch of gold bars, because I don't know what bank around here. One of those walk-in cash pawns that you see going on right now, where there's lines out the door for people trying to get a little money. The J.G. Wentworth commercials. I don't think anybody's giving you $250 million coins out of their pocket. So nobody can buy it now. It's too late for that. But a couple people saw this coming somehow, and that's a little bit safe, precautionary, and creepy at the same time. So.
Yeah, creepy is.
Well, but they're getting. Well, their creepiness might pay $250 million. So
I agree, but it's also kind of like how it's funny how some of the biggest stockholders pulled their stock.
Oh, well, yeah, but
I'm
not.
But
we know that. Yeah, but well, that's shady.
Yeah,
that happens all the time.
But no,
it's politics.
The one thing though with all this is, I really hope that this is not a bailout. I get it; it's business. But they have to survive, whatever. But I hope it's not a bailout for other sports. And that's what we were talking about with like Brent Baird earlier with college football. You sure hope. And this is something that's having to be talked about, but you sure hope that it's not going to happen because of what it means to people in general. The NFL, they're always trying to. They're going to be going above and beyond to make sure this just happens some way, somehow. But the thing is, too, for NFL, it's a lot easier for the NFL to make it to work because of all the deals, the TV deals, everything going on. They don't make as much from ticket sales. Let's be honest. They make an unbelievable amount with the TV deals and everything going on. A lot of inside stuff there, well, especially if you're Jerry Jones. But for colleges, maybe the big schools, maybe, schools that are on TV, Alabama's, LSU's, Georgia's, Florida's, schools like that. You talk about Oregon been on TV a lot more, but it's just
UCF. Oh, sorry, I have a cough a little bit.
I haven't seen them on TV. It's been a while. No, but the schools like that, they would be.
They shut down our parades this year.
It's true. They did.
Very disappointing.
But schools like that would be okay because of the money they would make out of the deals. But then you look at the smaller schools. What about the schools like, I know that they're a high-name school, of course, but Vanderbilt. What about Kentucky's? And we're talking about the SEC. We're still talking about SEC teams. I'm not talking about Kent State's and stuff yet. Those teams, like Kent State, they barely scratch the surface to be able to make enough money anyway. A lot of times they're in the red. And let's remember, for a lot of these schools, football pays for the other sports.
Yeah.
It pays for a lot of things on the campus.
School like Rutgers or a school,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens to these? That's where you have to have the fans.
Northwesterns, yeah.
So that's so important. I mean, that's
and that's where there's going to be a lot of stuff behind the scenes and a lot of stuff. This is just the beginning of it. I know everybody immediately wanted their stimulus check and moving on, and I've seen some of the funny ones with the bills on there. I'm not going to get too much into that. That sort of looked like my bank account statement, but that did not happen. Oh, just kidding. But when it came down to everything going on, there's going to be a lot more steps. Remember when it first did happen, I did say there would be bailouts on a lot of things. There still will be in different ways. But with this being said, it's not going to be an easy answer at first. And there's going to be a lot of fight. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be fighting against this tooth and nail regardless of if it's been deemed safe. Like I said, South Korea is starting to play baseball right now. They got 6 exhibitions going on as we speak. Now, they are probably a few weeks ahead of us at least. And they did a good job of combating it right away. They're already, most people, culture-wise, walk around South Korea in masks. And already are doing things immediately because they were also with a lot of what happened during SARS. When SARS was over there, a lot of people in Asia, in the Middle East, were a little bit ahead of us on a lot of this. And let's be honest with everything. The American way is puff our chest. We're going to take out. We're the most powerful. Try to come at us. Bring it, bro. We got a president that represents that. And I like that mentality. But when it comes to this, the virus doesn't care. And it has nothing to do with, like I said, this is not politics, but there is a reason why we have a lot more cases than other places. We also have a lot more people than other people. And guess who has more international travel than anywhere else as well? So not every day, how many people in the South are like, you know what, honey? You know what, you don't want to jump in the plane and go down to, let's just have a little fun right now in Uzbekistan. How about that? How many people over there are fiending to try to get over here? Some people for other reasons. But when it comes down to it, we need to understand that we have international travel. People, if you go to the Jackson Hartselle Airport or you go to places in Atlanta or in Houston, we have a problem these days when it comes to what's going on with a lot of people coming in and out. And it brought in a lot more. It spread real quick. That's why cities like Seattle, that's why cities like New York City that have huge international travel. Think about New Orleans. Why is there a huge spike in New Orleans compared to in Pensacola? Because Mardi Gras, with all those people congested in certain areas so quickly, and everybody coming in, because people travel from all over the world for Mardi Gras. And to bring it in there, that's why it happened so rapidly compared to some of these other spread out areas. That's why there's some states right now, like Montana and Idaho. South Dakota isn't doing anything. I mean, no, literally, they're not shutting anything down. They're just going about business. It's because, have you ever been to South Dakota? I've been to Bismarck.
6 people there.
I flew into Bismarck to do a game. No, that's ignorant, what you just said, but that's usually my job. Sorry, but usually you fly into Bismarck, and unless you go around and you might go 20 minutes without seeing another home. You can go on some of those roads where it's like driving I-10 in some parts of Texas with the tumbleweed coming through, like you're in one of those Texas Chainsaw movies. I've done that as well. So I understand.
The chainsaw part?
No, when I was driving to Vegas,
right.
There are some cities where my phone, I obviously charge my phone on time.
All the time.
Someone's like, how'd your phone die? You're next to all the, just quiet, shut up. But, when driving I-10 from Florida, South Florida, all the way to Las Vegas, when you move, you see some things you want to see, and then there's other things you don't want to see. And I get to experience the full pleasure of that. But I do have to say, though, that there are a lot of places that people, they're not doing anything because of the areas. It's different all around. Currently today, our numbers, Florida has 221 deaths, and there's about 12 1,350 cases. That was earlier today, reported by great people downstairs that are busting it, that have not moved right now at News Radio 92.3 throughout the day, doing an awesome job. That when it comes to news, they do a crushing job. You should turn to the important stuff to check it out on 92.3 right there with News Radio and the crew. The Panhandle right now has 125 cases in Escambia, 55 cases in Santa Rosa, with 1 death. And I read that story yesterday, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family right there dealing with that at 75. Family member, loved family, and they couldn't even really have a funeral together and invite some of the people, loved ones. And they're talking about cremating the body because they couldn't understand whether or not if this spreads. Some people said it even spreads more after death. So these things are scary because these are humans. These are loved ones of people. We're looking at numbers. These are loved ones, and it's sad. And Santa Rosa, 55 cases, 2 deaths. But we need to understand that what we're dealing with here, with a total of 160 cases, is not what New York City's dealing with, where they have in the 6-figure cases, could have 100,000 cases out there. It's a lot different in each area. So let's not represent this. When I see people all over jumping on Facebook in certain categories. Everybody get inside. Well, sir, you live in the heart of Manhattan. Did pretty good for yourself. You live in the heart of Manhattan. But at the same time, you have to stay indoors. Unlike some of these people that might be able to go down the road, or if they did keep their distance 50 feet apart, might have been on a boat this week. Some of those Crab Island pictures, a little shady. You can't be there's a lot of people out there. And I'm not saying that you're bad people, but not at all. You do what you need to do. But if you're partying with like 100 people in the same area, that's not helping too much. Do what you got to do. Not judging, but that's just my opinion. I got a mic. I just look at this and understand, though, that if South Korea can figure something out, to go back to revert to what we were talking about in baseball with them playing, it doesn't mean that we can't ever get baseball back. But there will always be people. There will always be people, even if they have figured out a plan to do it, that will say it can't happen. Just like that 38% of this country, here's a stat that you need to remember. 38% of this country wakes up every day and says we shouldn't play football regardless before the coronavirus because of the safety, because of what's happening with concussions and CTE, and Will Smith on movies going, tell the truth. 38% of the country already feels that way. And they're going to fight tooth and nail regardless to get football back. So let's just be clear when this comes back that we're going to take the safety precautionary measures we should, but there's going to be a lot of people fighting against it regardless. And we need to understand that.
Yeah, well, it's also the same thing when you talk about people saying the NFL draft should not go on. And look, the NFL's come out and said they're going to have a 100% virtual draft. And when you look at it, I said this before on Talk Football, this is something that we have set ourselves up for moments like this to use the technology. We have some of the greatest technology ever. I mean, every day it's changing. That's why you go get that new phone, and then a couple weeks later, they come out with the next type of phone that's got all these other gadgets with it.
I'm still on like the 1993 phone right now. No, well, yours is.
I updated you a little
bit. You updated me a little,
yeah.
But yeah. The burner phone, I still got that one.
Burner phone is like the first one that came out.
I don't know how people are still texting the burner phone. That's like Dawn and I talked about it. She was still texting me, and I was like, how is this happening? Someone's playing pranks.
Weird.
It is weird.
But it's something that for people that are saying we shouldn't have that draft, we should. I mean, it's not downplaying the coronavirus. It's still there. You can turn it to every other channel, and you can turn it on radio stations, and it's still there.
Yes.
Having the draft is not taking anything away from that, but I think it's important just for sports fans because, listen, even if you're not an avid NFL fan, a lot of people listen. We've talked about it before.
If you're a big XFL fan, you got to watch the greatest games of all time in XFL history this week.
It was
greatest
beautiful.
XFL games on FS1. That's what we're at right now.
I'm not commenting on that, although they were great.
You're the host of an XFL show. You need to be.
I was.
Yes.
Let's move on from that.
Listen.
Those times have changed, my friend.
Times have changed. That was 3 weeks ago. Times have changed.
I know. Seems like forever ago. But it's something, though, that with the draft being virtual and people still naysaying said, how dare the NFL? This is them trying to make some money off of it. Well, I disagree. If the NFL was trying to make money off of it, they would still be trying to push for fans in Vegas, which is obviously not going to happen. But this is something that needs to happen. Even Coach Case come on and said, listen, these guys need to know where they're going. There's things that need to be made. There's contracts, all this other stuff going through. Look, there's a lot that goes into this. And with what they're doing in Korea, that's awesome. I mean, I hope it works out. I hope they don't have to cancel anything.
South Korea people.
South Korea,
okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just make that clear. What they're doing in Korea is awesome. Be like, what's
South Korea?
I know that people have been drinking, but
somebody just turned just spit their drink out.
Dennis Rodman, what up, bro?
But I think it's awesome, and look, it's if it works out, that's cool, moving forward, because I hope we learn from it. No matter what happens in it, I think we will. And for people that don't want to push for sports to come back, I want to push for them to come back safely. Obviously, they're not going to be played. At a point like this, they are not going to be played if it's not done safely.
When we come back, we're going to talk to my brother Brett Brillante of the Golf Channel as some of the postponed dates have been announced for the U.S. Open, the Masters, and more. This would be Masters week ahead. When we come back, we'll talk to my brother, and I'll explain why we brought up sort of a joke, but I do have what was a burner phone. It is a joke, and I just want to make that clear. I have a family and kids and don't live that life. We're coming back for more. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, and Blab TV.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
My favorite thing about music is it's reliable. It's always there.
It just helps me cheer up other people.
There's nothing to worry about when you do music. You're just having fun.
When I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, this is me.
And the sound just increases around you, and you just become immersed in it. You become one with it.
When you play music, you are playing life.
Whatever music means to you, just play.
Brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
JP here with Talk Football and the Sports Drive. At ESPN Pensacola, we're hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Famer Derek Brooks.
The Super Bowl, and they're trying to win it for us. Third down, 18. Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 30. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way.
This is former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Washington High School alum Derek Brooks. You listen to ESPN Pensacola.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen. With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brillante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm gonna make you bend and break. They sent you to me with that way. Say a prayer, but let the good times roll. In case God doesn't show. Let the good times roll.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day here on Blab TV. Chad Brillante on the other side of the glass, JP. Quentin back in the network studio for Blab TV. And joining us now with the Golf Channel, who is at home in the City of Champions back in Orlando. Brett Brillante, my brother, joins us here. Brett, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, Chad? Just like you, staying busy. You know, golf instruction, we're still able to put stuff out there on social media and try to fill the airwaves. It's been a busy time, even though we're working from home.
Now, you guys might already be going down this path, but how much, from a golf standpoint, are they going to try to go down some of these tournaments about doing on the mats? Like, I mean, I know friend Tracy over at Beef O'Brady's, they had one of them, a $50,000 mat. You could play against people. You know, a lot of these different, virtual mat kind of things you can play in golf out of all the sports to try to create. Is golf looking at trying to do that, or it just would be too hard with so many people?
You know, I haven't been on the inside. I haven't been on the meetings for what they're doing tournament-wise. You know, I think it's a positive sign that they've, set some dates today. You've got the Memorial, it sounds like, coming back in mid-June. You've got 3 major championships rescheduled, the Masters in late November, 2 Masters in 5 months. That's going to be a little bit crazy. I think the PGA Tour and I think professional golf is going the standard route. I think they just want to get out there, get the people playing, whether or not there's fans out there on the course. I think golf just wants to set a date and aim for it, and I think that's what they've done here today.
Brett, when you look right now at golf going forward, there were some dates that were moved. The postponement date of this would be Masters Week, a tradition unlike any other a reason. You had Tiger Woods, the defending champion, pretty big name last time I checked, and then Bubba Watson here from Pensacola. He's won it twice. Obviously, this is his tournament. That sort of sparks a lot of interest, as does many when it comes to the Masters. But talk about what it's been this week, knowing that it's Masters Week, because like every event, every sport has their baby. And when it comes down to golf, the Masters is it. I mean, whether U.S. Open's great, Open Championship's great, but the Masters is it when it comes to the States. And talk about this week and what it's meant emotionally to a lot of these people.
You know, there's certain events in sports that you can, really pinpoint, and the second Sunday in April is the Masters. This is Masters Week. You know, it's such an important week, especially now since they've added the Augusta National Women's Amateur and the Drive Ship and Putt Championship for the kids, and then you've got a full week of the Masters. It's just such a huge event in the game of golf, for a lot of people. I know the players and obviously the Florida Swing and out there at Pebble. They're great events, but this really signals the start of golf season. And, it's disappointing. It's kind of a double gut punch with it being Masters Week and the Open also being canceled today. Really sucks for most golf fans. But the good news is they have every intention of it being played. The Augusta National Green Jackets, they could have very easily said, you know what, we pay a whole lot of money to be members of this course. We're just going to cancel it this year, and so we can keep the course to ourselves throughout the fall. And no, what they're doing is they're going to open it up, to the professionals. They're going to shut it down for a couple weeks leading up to the event. It's going to look different. The azaleas aren't quite going to be in bloom like they are in April. But I'm excited to see a major championship in November. It's going to be different. It's going to look weird, but it's still going to be the Masters, and it's going to be great.
Brett, watching today, South Korea has gotten back on baseball. They've had 6 exhibition matchups out there, and they're going to, if anybody gets the coronavirus, it spreads, they're going to cancel it 2 weeks as, look, I'm just saying if they report it or whatever happens. But when it comes down to it, it's baseball. It's something on. I know you just as much as you know me, and I've watched a monkey play a guy in actually table tennis in Belarus just so I could put a couple dollars on it. But there's been many matchups going on out there, and South Korea will be the new, really, Australian soccer for a couple weeks. It's going to be something where the whole entire world's going to be watching because we're sports fans. We love sports, and we want to watch it. And do you feel, though, there's a blueprint being set here, or South Korea we know was ahead of the curve already? They were more prepared, and it's one of the thriving countries of sort of slowing down everything. But if it comes down to it, are they setting a blueprint for Major League Baseball? What's going to be the pushback? And I understand that we're going to have people in this country that voice their opinion negatively and positively, optimistically, not in the best interest of what I hope people at this point understand, which is the safety of people and not spreading this more. If anybody else is trying to put their platform outside of that, which they are, but if anything outside of that, we're going to hear both sides. But do you see baseball coming back here in the next 3 or 4 months?
I see baseball coming back. Maybe that's being hopeful. I think it'll come back sometime around when the All-Star game would normally be, sometime in mid to late July. Playing a whole lot of doubleheaders. Probably each team playing a doubleheader at least once a week. So it's going to be a jam-packed season. Obviously, there's no way you're getting in 162, but let's face it, most baseball fans even want 162 games.
No, I think that'd be great, yeah.
Something in the 100 to 120 range doesn't sound too awful if you're a true baseball fan.
This could be the post-coronavirus. You know how like the stats are so big? It took forever the NFL to go to 14. Yeah, the Dolphins, that 72 team that went undefeated, like 14 to 16 games. Maybe this could be the post-coronavirus stats, like the new 81 games.
They could have a 100-game season and Chris Davis will find a way to coach out times. But I'm hopeful that baseball comes back. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to judge other countries because they took very different precautions in South Korea that they took in China, that they're taking in the United States. Every country is going through a very different situation. So South Korea, if they're confident in their much, much, much smaller landmass country, the United States of America, that they can get back out there and no virus will be spread, good for them. I am not judging what the United States of America should do based on what's going on in China, South Korea, and other countries. Just like the Open being canceled in the UK is a totally different situation than the U.S. Open, the Masters, and the PGA being scheduled here in the U.S., different countries, different situations. Good for those who can get back to playing, but I'm not going to rush anyone else.
No, I think in Korea, those 1,500 people that are essential at IKEA right now would all be arrested. Let's just put it that way. All right? That's all I'm going to say on that. And moving on to our next one right now, we're talking WrestleMania. You've been growing up in the same household. I know you were a big wrestling fan, watching it right there. I liked wrestling. I watch it. I think it's great. I think the people that say it's fake, they don't understand until you actually see the physical labor. These guys, it's not fake. This is not virtual reality of them holograms getting thrown off the top of a table. It's scripted, but you still fly off of a ladder onto a table from 30 feet. These guys, the old Mankind matchups on top of those cages, that really happened. And I look at it and say, you know what? When it comes down to this, it was pretty exciting to watch, but ultimately I think we all came to the same conclusion. The Patriots win once again with Gronk. Is that?
Well, I like to appear like, oh God, they put a WWE title on Gronk. Well, the title that he won has also been won by Kyle Busch, Enos Cantor, Kelly Kelly, the DJ Marshmallow. So it's not like this is a prestigious title that was held by Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and the greats of the world. No, WrestleMania being back was fantastic. Putting the 24/7 title on Gronk, this is something that he can bring to interviews. This is something that he can bring to the NFL draft on Fox. It's going to be good for WWE while they're in a little bit of a hiatus for tapings. I just don't see how they continue shooting shows here in Orlando since we're under a lockdown right now. So, but WrestleMania, it was look, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, it was a great, great thing to have back. Just something new, something original. My boss at Golf Channel has a phrase where I'll let you try anything once. Hopefully it works, but if it doesn't, I'm not going to be mad at you. And that's what WWE did yesterday. That's what I applaud them for. They didn't just have every single match held in an empty Full Sail arena. They tried new things. If you watched it, the Undertaker AJ Styles match, it was a cinematic classic. It was the worst B movie you've seen, but guess what? It was kind of what we needed in this day and age. The John Cena Fiend match yesterday, it was, let's face it, it was an acid trip. It was the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen in sports entertainment history. But you know what? It was fun. It was different. They tried something. People are going to hate it. People are going to love it. But that's what I wanted. I just wanted something new, something different. You can't just keep having the standard old matches in front of nobody. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. And like I said, even if you're not a wrestling fan, I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania.
NCAA, as we speak with my brother Brett Brilliante of the Golf Channel, this would be Masters Week right here, a big week for Pensacola with Bubba Watson, so many great athletes, guys like Jerry Pate who've won the U.S. Open, just big names in golf in general. But when it comes down to NCAA football, one thing is it seems like more people have more time on their hands to start thinking clear, I'd hope, besides everybody going to the liquor store. But when it comes down to officially cracking down on fake injuries, the NCAA said that they're going to step up and do what they can to enforce this next year, which in an ultimate policy, Is there something where we can make this happen? Because I think it doesn't matter if we're on either side. If you're a Gator, if one of your guys completely looks over at the coach and falls, yeah, it might help your team out, but you don't want to be represented that way. And it's just it's something that I hope changes, just because it's such the opposite of what football is about. It's a man sport, grinding out and winning in the trenches, when these guys are trying to be actors like they're in a French soccer game. Is there anything we can do to stop this? And do you think they're going to manage this? Are they going to follow up on them saying they're going to crack down on these fake injuries and fake cramps in the middle of a big play?
What these crackdowns and what these regulations are going to do are the same thing as these stay-at-home and these quarantine orders. It's just for the 1% of idiots. Most people are responsible, but there's just that 1% of idiots out there who are ruining it for the rest of us. And that's what this rule is going to do. Look, it's just for the people who are walking toward the sidelines, get the seal for their coach. Oh, no, my knee's hurting. Like, the very, very obvious cases are going to go away. The ones that are the 99% that the guys are faking, because guess what? It's also illegal to simulate and to fake an injury in soccer. Guess what? Still happens. Like, all the time. So you're still going to get people faking injuries, and they're still going to get away with it 99% of the time, because guess what? The last thing that a referee wants to do is accuse you of having a fake injury and actually being real. The first time that happens, now we're in some serious deep stuff. So I think that 99% of college football faking injuries are going to go on as scheduled. Hopefully this rule gets rid of the 1%.
Yeah, and they don't want me. I guess you could say vigilante style kind of I would have like a 3-strike policy. Like, you would have one flop and you have to miss that entire series. Second flop, like, how yellow cards can linger in soccer to the next game. If you do it again, you're out for that game. And then the third strike, get off my field, like the Clint Eastwood. You're done. Season's done. So if it happens, you get 3 of them in 2 weeks, you're never playing football again. If you've done 3 flops in 2 games, get off. Pack your things. But again, let's go to the flip side, Chad. Let's say it looks like a blatant flop. The referee steps in, throws a flag. The guy's taken to the sidelines, and it comes out a couple days later that he's got a serious concussion or there's something. Then he should be out anyways.
Now that referee.
Then he should be out of the game anyways, and it works out. It's the world working itself out. He'd be out anyway.
The first time a flag is thrown for what turns out to be a legitimate injury, then this thing goes into chaos.
I know what you're saying, but let's use, like, Roe versus Wade's brought up in court cases. Let's go directly to Virginia. Yeah, let's go to Virginia Tech. Let's go Virginia Tech.
Now, but I don't want to join you on it.
No, Virginia Tech versus Florida State last year, though. It wouldn't have changed the game, but Florida State needed more of a reason to boo the chaos 2 years ago with Willie Taggart. But where the guy looked over to the sidelines and was caught on national TV and then did, like, the full entire, flop. You know what play I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But something like that. Yeah, get him off my field. He's done. His family, they go to jail for life. Just go. Continue.
That's the 1%.
Yeah. Done. Never play again. Never. Should have thought.
Anything else? NFL draft?
The NFL draft. Now, Justin Herbert. Now, there are some guys out there. Like I said, this goes back to a lot of people have had a lot of time on their hands and they've been able to drink more. But some people that are getting paid by NFL.com have Justin Herbert getting traded up at number 4 by the Dolphins, even up a pick to get him after Tua goes to the Redskins, according to NFL.com's latest draft board. Is it at this point? What % chance do you see Miami not taking Tua at 5?
If they're at 5 and Tua is available, I think it's the obvious play. The one thing I do not want the Miami Dolphins to do as a Dolphins fan is trade up for any quarterback. If the Chargers or the Panthers or someone trade ahead of you to 3 or 4 and they snag Tua, okay, there's a good quarterback that's still going to be there at 5. I just don't want – there's going to be a good quarterback there at 5 regardless. So that's the one thing I don't want the Miami Dolphins to do. Would I prefer Tua? Absolutely. I'd rather risk his injury history than what I consider Justin Herbert's beta personality. He's got all the tools. He is a gunslinger. He's got the arm. He's got the accuracy. He's athletic. He's mobile. He just has that personality of a Ryan Tannehill, which I've dealt with just way too much, where if you could plug Jake Fromm's personality and being able to rally his teammates around him with Justin Herbert's attributes physically, you'd have the greatest quarterback in the draft. Unfortunately, I just don't see that star quality in Justin Herbert. So, if I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, there's two things I want coming out of this draft. I want Tua at 5. I'm really, really hoping he's there. And I want an offensive lineman. I don't care if it's at 18. I don't care if it's at 26. I don't care if you have to package both of those 2 picks to move up and get a Thomas, to get one of the big 4, because you've got 4 stud offensive linemen in this draft. I would love to see the Dolphins take 2 at 5, trade up to get one of the stud offensive linemen, and then go get your running back in the second round.
Brett, JP here. I'm sitting here petting my Oregon basketball.
No,
Look,
listen,
I'm a big Oregon fan. I have family over there as well. I appreciate you for giving fuel to the fire now for Chad, because not only the Oregon comment, which I do agree, I would take Tua before Justin Herbert.
By the way, he babysits kids and he calls them Oregon basketball. That's what. Oh, sorry. Continue.
But also Ryan Tannehill, because I'm also a Tennessee Titans fan, so I'm not going to disagree.
you double crushed him on that. That was awesome.
I just looked at Chad like, man, I'm never going to hear the end of this.
We're doing the show from other. We're one of the very few people that are still in studio, but we're outside. I'm on the other side of the glass, and he's on the other side. And we've set it up where but I saw him look over, and you crushed Herbert, and then you came back with Tannehill, and you just double crushed him. It was awesome. That was a double pile driver right there. You got it. That was awesome. That was, yeah. And,
look,
and you both have ties still. Yeah.
And look, like I said, I mean, I think physically, there's nothing that says he can't be a great quarterback in this league, because physically it's all there. I look at the guys in the NFL who have been really successful at the quarterback position. Tom Brady is not the most athletic. He's not the most gifted. But, man, is that guy a winner. That's the guy you want, with the ball in his hands in the final 2 minutes. I've watched enough Oregon games to see that Herbert has every single pass in his arsenal. But, man, I don't think Oregon fans were too confident with the ball in his hands driving down the field. The Arizona State game, there were some over the past 3 years that wasn't necessarily.
You're just crushed. You're on fire right now with this. The one game.
No, but he's right though.
Isn't that the one
part.
Game they lost? Or no, 2. Well, the Auburn one, but that was.
But no, you're right, Brett. I'm not arguing that. It's Justin Herbert. I hope there's a lot of things I've even said that he doesn't. He still doesn't throw a touch pass. The guy's got a cannon for an arm, but he can't lay the ball in between a linebacker and a safety very well.
Well, Tebow's available to teach him.
That's moving on from that one. No, I was more upset. Look, you got me on that one, and that's more along the lines of now, because all the crap I've given Chad about Tom Brady, now he's got a little fuel, because it's not just him talking.
Listen, out of all the co-hosts, Brett, that I have one that is a Titans fan in this year's NFL playoffs. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I was like, I did not. I've been salty for a little while.
You talk about that touch pass, but I know, this isn't something that gets talked about really often, but when I look at the skill of a quarterback, that is one thing. There's those screen passes, the ones where you throw it kind of almost lateral, just barely behind the line of scrimmage even. Do you lead the guy just an inch? Do you throw it to him on a run? Are you kind of giving it to him when he's moving forward? Are you the type of quarterback that's throwing it to him, he's got to catch in a standstill position, kind of accelerate on his own? Just an inch here or there, man. There's some quarterbacks that they just have it, and they just know exactly how to lead the player and right where to put the ball to put them in the best position going down the field. And, again, I haven't watched enough of Herbert to judge him on that one, but, that's the type of skill, that touch. If you're telling me that he doesn't have a great touch pass, that's another reason I don't really want the Dolphins to draft him.
Brett, we appreciate the time, and I hope you're staying safe out there in the City of Champions. If Bill Walton could get away with it, I'm saying it as well. But I will say, though, that we've enjoyed it. Looking forward to talking some more. Since the Masters is not happening this week, your prediction could be the best ever. Who would you like to win the Masters this week if it was happening?
I mean, like to win? Of course Tiger would.
Who's going to win this week's Masters? Come on. Just throw it out there. Come on.
Look, Tiger Woods, he doesn't move the needle. He is the needle. The closer he gets to Jack Nicklaus' 18 major championships, Tiger getting to 16, 17, it would be great for sports. It would be great for golf. I think we all want to see it. So, absolutely. Hopefully this time off lets Tiger's back heel, and he's ready to go come November.
What if they do rig the system and you play virtual golf and Tiger wins the next 5 Masters and passes Jack? Would there be any kind of would there be an argument? They find a way. Tiger wins 5 straight virtual matchups.
No, nobody would care. Golf's not a very traditional game. You don't have the country club folks that would care if the greatest championship of them all was given to an esports player. Nah.
Jack wouldn't be leaving his house to argue, I'll tell you. Well, that's all right. On that note, everybody, guys, thank you again, Brett. And what did he get in the face? All right, Brett. You don't want to. This conversation's going south, so you need to get out. Get out with the fires on. All right. Hey, be safe, buddy. All right.
You too.
See you. Well, just being serious. Jack needs to be safe.
Wow.
He's not going to argue that.
He's not leaving his. All right. When you have to stop yourself, when you stop yourself, that's a whole different level of bad.
This is the golden bear we're talking
You're being
about, people.
ignorant, Chad.
This is the golden bear. Tiger Woods, watch him, though. His face I can see from home. They have the Jack cam, like Roger Maris's family, watching as he wins 5 virtual majors over the next 2 years and passes them. Worst thing I've ever seen. He only needs 4 now, so okay. All right, let's go to break. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, Live TV.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this. Whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa, voted best on the Bay 10 years in a row, and now offering tattoo removal.
JP here with Talk Football on the Sports Drive. This is a different time for all of us, and for some, it's extremely tough right now. All of us here at ESPN Pensacola want to send a shout out to all our first responders and healthcare workers right now. We appreciate all the work that you do day in and day out, but right now we know you are all working harder than ever to help all of us get through this to beat COVID-19. If you see someone or know someone who is a first responder or healthcare worker, don't shake their hand, but let them know you appreciate them. Remember, a kind word goes a long way. Your ESPN Pensacola ridiculous stats. I'm JP. When Michael Jordan averaged over 37 points per game in 1986, his Chicago Bulls were a sub-500, 8th-seeded playoff team that got swept by the Boston Celtics in the first round. See, kids, it is a team game. The average golf ball has 336 dimples. Come on, don't act like you've never wondered. And from 1989 to 1998, Prairie View A&M lost 80 consecutive games. I'm guessing that's a record that will never be broken. That's your ESPN Pensacola ridiculous stats. I'm JP.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Let's drop. Yeah. Come on. I'll take you home if you don't leave me.
And welcome back to Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. 850-623-1330 is the number. A couple of the things going on right now. The NFL Draft. Adam Schefter, others think it's not important to have. Look, I'm not going to get into having people. It's not going to happen, by the way. They're not going to put people in Las Vegas do the draft. But doing it virtually, the draft, is something that we can get behind. Once again, the draft. But let's make sure to understand that.
Glad you clarified that.
Clarified that twice for everybody out there. But we just need to understand that. I hope everybody is aware of that and understands what's happening. You know what I'm saying? It's not – the NFL draft is different by having it at home. I just hope somebody – some really good hacker could get in there. And I'm not thinking any team would ever pull some kind of misfits behind closed doors. So let's not think of any team or judge any team in the NFL for doing that. But imagine somebody to get in there. There's been a trade with the number 1 pick. Roger Goodell's like, this is odd. With the first pick in the NFL draft, the Bengals have traded the rights to New England, and then before the clock, why did I say the team? But it's hypothetically. And then just all of a sudden, immediately, pick is in. Dun, 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 with the I can't do what's the dun, dun, dun. Okay, I'm not even going to try. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. The draft noise. I can't believe I can't do that noise right there. Gosh.
I'll look
you
that
know
noise
exactly.
up for
It's
you.
the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, what I do want to say, though, is have you seen the articles that says 8 ways that the Patriots can trade up to get Tua?
No, this is Burrow. We get Burrow. But somebody hacks into the system and pulls this off. That'd be awesome.
Brady 2.0?
I can't believe I was going to try the noise again. It's so easy. I mean, I know exactly what the noise is. It's one of those kind of, but I can't do it. This is weird. I can do all these different ridiculous sounds, and I can't pull this one off. But it's really important for me. I'm going to leave this show after 2 hours and be like, got to be kidding me. I couldn't have done that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine somebody messing with Goodell. How could they reverse that? Or somebody being like, listen, thank you. Thank you for doing that. We'll make sure.
There you go. One more time.
Thank you. Yes, one more time, please, to make sure that we can. I love that noise, by the way, because it doesn't.
I do too.
Those teams that when it's an obvious pick, like the Bengals, they'll roll the 10 minutes. You know that?
Yes.
They're going to roll the 10 minutes to start that, and you're like, come on. We've been waiting literally since that final snap in February. We've been waiting for you just to pick Joe Burrow. The Tiger King comes out. There's more. Just get it going. Come on. You're wasting 10 minutes that we've been waiting for this draft literally for now 2.5 months, and now you are going to make us sit and wait longer for 10 minutes. Like, yeah, and they're going to love every minute of doing that too. Hopefully they can get things rolling.
Now we have a guest during the show. That's what I want to play every time.
We got to keep that noise. That's
I'm definitely keeping
It's one
that.
of those kind of noises that brings a lot of – any football fan gets excited except Jets fans. They don't like that noise.
No, they
hate that noise. One more time.
Never good.
One more time for us.
All right. Give me 1 second.
I just love that.
It's just
It's getting me excited for
I know, it
it's
is.
Now we got to cut it now because I'm seeing the Kill Harry come across the stage. That's not good now. It's not. Now it's bad. Now it's backfiring. It's backfiring.
This year, what do you do? I mean, what do they draft? I mean, they need a bunch of different things, but
I would hope they at this point, it really depends what way they're going to make. If Belichick gives you one of those grins in week 9 when they're 0-9, if they're 0-9 and they a lot of people still think they're the team to beat in the AFC, which is just shows you how quality of a coach he is. But I don't see that. But if they do, if it is 0-9 and he has that grin on the side, you'd be like, you sneaky devil. He's going with Trevor Lawrence next year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What about this? All right, hear me out on this. You ready for this?
Okay. Gosh, I missed that.
With the 23rd pick in the 2020 draft in the first round, the New England Patriots have traded to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson.
That would be awesome.
Doesn't that seem like
my gosh.
That's a Bill O'Brien move right now. He's just giving everything away.
I'd virtually hug a lot of people. I'd virtually hug a lot of people.
Just call people on FaceTime.
6-foot high fives from all the. That would be cool to have a room set up where 6 foot. We should do. Oh, that's great. They should have Zoom meetings with all the people. This could be really cool.
You see Dwayne Haskins?
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins is inviting Redskin fans to have a virtual draft party.
Look, if you pay for Zoom, you can get what, 60, 70? If you get all the that'd be awesome.
That's about all the Redskin fans.
That'd be really cool.
Left.
Man, that would be awesome. Get all the fans together with one guy. That would be celebrated. Man, that'd be so cool.
You're excited now because of the Deshaun Watson thing,
and the second people start dropping F-bombs, you just mute them. You can mute. They're like, I don't like you. They just start muting and deleting the people all over. You see faces start to drop. Yeah, I know. I wanted a tackle. I wanted an offensive tackle. All right. You know what? The NFL, this could be really fun. I mean, this could be the most fun they can have with it. But once again, not being in the same room and not that patented just pristine style of handing an envelope to the commissioner to open it up and read. They still should have somebody like his kids. See, it would make, to me, it would more humanize Roger Goodell. I mean, to have like his kid walk up and hand him that would be pretty cool. To like have his kid walk up and hand him the message with the pick. Like, have fun with it. I think it'd be fun. Antonio Cromartie could send one of his kids if he doesn't. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. There we go. Now we're back. Now we're back. Now I'm back in the. Someone's like, this is getting too heartwarming for the show right here. And he throws out Cromartie's kids out there. Coming back for more. It's a good talk show, by the way, Cromartie's kids. Coming back. Sports Drive. Catch it on Netflix.
First take, your take. Number one, if you are Cam Newton going to New England, why in God's name would you want Cam Newton to succeed Tom Brady? You don't want to put Cam Newton in that situation when he's 31 years of age. There are people speculating that we may have very well seen the very, very best of him. You don't want that for him.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
First take, your take. Number one, if you are Cam Newton going to New England, why in God's name would you want Cam Newton to succeed Tom Brady? You don't want to put Cam Newton in that situation when he's 31 years of age. There are people speculating that we may have very well seen the very, very best of him. You don't want that for him.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast on Blad TV. Chad Brillante on one side of the glass, sort of the Hannibal Lecter style today, and on the other side, don't judge, and on the other side is JP. How can you not judge after a comment like that? I was going to say, yeah.
Way beyond
not the guy to go to. He's, look, we haven't done all the same things. So looking at, if you've learned some things from today's show, let's go over that. It would be Masters Week. The NBA Hall could have been the best draft class ever in the Hall of Fame, as KG, Tim Duncan, and Kobe Bryant all in one class. iRacing, take it serious or you'll lose Blue Emu. Indy Racing was pretty cool. The guy that was paralyzed from the waist down got to finish out a race, which couldn't have happened. So a glass half full, which a lot of people are doing now that they're home in different ways. Robert Wickens getting an opportunity to race. That was a cool story in IndyCar. NCAA officials cracking down on fake injuries, or at least that's their story. We'll see. That could just crack people up. WrestleMania, Gronkowski winning. And also, if you could pick one quarantine movie for sports, what would it be? That wasn't part of today's show. I just threw that in there. We posted that on our ESPN Pensacola feed, and a lot of people were weighing in. If there was one sports movie here, people, that you could be stuck in quarantine with, let's make that clear. Who would that be?
Oh, okay. I thought you were just...
this is, yeah.
Oh, man.
I
really like Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard?
I like the old one, though.
The old one with Burt Reynolds?
Yes.
Yeah. That was not on the list. It was... I will have to go with...
Then Friday Night Lights. I like that, or Space Jam. That's good.
I'm going to go with Remember the Titans.
Make me feel like a jerk? Okay.
I mean, I like look.
No, it's fine. It's too late.
Coach Klein and I mean, no, don't feel like a jerk. It's all right. Tin Cup's a good one. Right? Happy Gilmore. If that was, official. Oh, Mr. Larson. 19th hole at 9. When you say Happy Gilmore as like the go-to movie, people immediately understand that where you're going with this. I mean, it is the biggest mockery in the history of all sports, but it's hilarious. I mean, go back to your shanty scene with the people with waving balloons and all like that. You can't do that on a golf course. But all right, that's all the time we have for today's show. We appreciate you joining us. As always, thank you. Be safe out there. Thank you to everybody, for Brett Brillante, for Brent Baird, everybody joining us here. For all the folks out there, I'm Chad Brillante, JP Quinton. God bless, and then please be safe out there. And here's your Sports Drive headlines as we continue through. RIP to Tom Dempsey, somebody that has been a loved one from the New Orleans Saints for a long time. 63-yard kick without toes. He actually has that shoe in the Hall of Fame right there. So you can see it in Camden right there, and a pretty amazing story of a guy that has meant so much in what he did throughout his career, passing away from the coronavirus at the age of 71. Looking at, also talking about the story of Richard Petty Motorsports' Bubba Wallace, who was the first to get bent out of shape in a wreck in a rage-filled third place at the Pro Invitational Series with Clint Boyer, when Boyer cut his nose off in the front right there. And, yep, at that point he got upset. He walked away, and he said, "Y'all have a good one. That's it for me." And a couple expletives after that, he lost his sponsorship to Blue Emu. Also, over the weekend, one of the best games on TV was the Boston Celtics and LA Lakers championship matchup that was played on ESPN. Very sad to see Stuart Scott, Kobe Bryant, Jerry Buss, and David Stern all in the same group, as they all at the championship right there after the fifth one. That was 9 years ago today. All four of those people have passed, but meant so much to the legacy of sports.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
It's Spain and